and welcome to Let's Talk About Meh. Today we're going to be talking about Combat League Wrestling Monster Mash 2025. As usual, welcome to the channel. Thanks for checking out the video and you're about to sit down and listen to me ramble. If you could, like, because it helps with the algorithm crap. Share, because it gets me out there like a rash. And subscribe, because, hey, I need the attention. Midlife crisis and all that. So yeah, we're going to talk about Combat League Monster Mash 2025. Now, I'm going to prefix this with, I am really tired. I am so tired. It's borderline like heavy lethargy. I think a sloth could outrun me right now and be more productive than I am right now. Oh, so, do you know what? Not a lot of drama in the lead up to this show. Not a lot of drama at all. It was quite smooth. It was a little bit touch and go in the advertising because, you know, promos and videos and things were a bit slow coming in, but people have lives, people have things going on. You can't always expect, gimme now, gimme now, gimme now. But yeah, so the lead up was smooth. A little iffy on the advertising. If I was going to be honest, wasn't shaky on the pre-sale side, but the time of year and, you know, look, it's a difficult thing to explain. If you're involved in any form of running events, there's always a level of risk. There's always a level of, is this going to be the last one? Especially with this, because it lives and dies on its community's interest. But it's tough up here. Like, Caithness is rural, services are dropping, the country is in an absolute mess at the moment, we've got Christmas around the corner, we've got bills going up the whole time, it's tough. Shut up, phone. Shut up. Professional as ever, I didn't put it on silent. Anyway, back to the seriousness. Bills are going up the whole time. And I do carry a level of guilt where I'm putting these shows on and I'm expecting people to pay tickets to come and see it. Like, I know how it's the world works. Dave, that's how it works. If I could give this to my community for free, I would. Because seeing families' faces when we do this, and when the kids just completely are gone in the moment and they're cheering for their heroes, they're booing the villains, especially me, they're booing me all the time. Stop booing me. Nah, you're supposed to boo me. Do boo me. But to see them lose themselves, and then as a parent myself, to then see it bleed out into the parent, and then the parent begins to lose themselves because the child is just going absolutely ape. It shows how much this helps the community. That for a night, for 2.5 to 3 hours, you can lose yourself. There's no stress. It's just taking in the entertainment, boo, yay, enjoying the stories, enjoying the madness. And if there is a night for madness, it's the Monster Mash. It's the most ridiculous night on Combat League's calendar. Wow, who's struggling to get my words out today? I told you, lethargy. Lethargy and the brain fog is unreal. So yeah, it was a bit touch and go sales-wise, but it pulled together in the end. It was fine. And enough turned up where it was like, yes, good night. Oh, coffee libation. The day started off great. Fantastic. Now, I told a little lie. I said that there was no problems in the lead up. There wasn't from a promoting standpoint. There was a problem with me. Because if anyone that knows me, I am a fucking problem. I was doing really well. Obviously, if you've watched my previous videos, or you should go and watch the previous videos in the Dave timeline, I've had a really, really bad hip injury for the last 3 years now, and it's some shows it's been fine, some shows it's gone, and it's completely debilitating. My hip actually comes out of place and it's agonising pain. I have to go to the GP, the physio, who resets it for me. But I'm always in pain. I'm always struggling to move, and it can decide on a whim when it wants to behave and when it doesn't. There's no rhyme or reason, and I can't make allowances or plan for it. And it's been tough, really tough. So I made the decision after the last show. I stayed out of the ring. I didn't train. I just coached, and it was tough. Never been out of the ring that long, ever. In about 14 years, I've never ever stayed out of the ring that long. And I did miss it. If you hear any weird noises, by the way, it's the dog. Miles is in here with me, and he's currently giving himself a extremely vigorous bath. And I think I know, well, I hope you know what I mean. Man, my head, I can't get my words out at all. Oh, Lord. So yeah, the hip went, and I stayed out of the ring, and I made a point of like, I need to get this sorted. So I began to do heavier rehab, and then my form of preferred exercises, I love kettlebells. I love to do kettlebells, and I fell out with it. And it was one of that things where we all do it. I'll get back into it. I'll start this week. I'll start tomorrow. I'll start next day. And then it just never comes because life, busy, all the time. So I made a point that I was going to start hitting the kettlebells, and I managed to start like fitting it in when I could. I would start with small workouts, and then it was getting to longer workouts because I was getting into a good routine. Things were going great. I lost about 1 stone in weight, and I started to feel stronger. I was getting some nice definition on the old biceps. And one day I saw a video, and I was like, well, that's an interesting style of kettle swing, and it gives you a bit more oomph. So I decided I would try that particular swing. No. I had done it, and once I'd finished the back, and it was my lower back right in the center of my spine and my hip together. Wow, so bad. Pain just kept growing and growing and growing, and it got to the point where I had to make an emergency appointment with the physio, who saw me within about an hour to 2 hours that day. So I was really, really lucky, because this was like agonizing. So I went, got my hip reset, because that's what I thought I had done. I thought I put the hip out again, and I mentioned that my back was really, really sore. So the information that I was about to receive, if I had this information, I would never, ever, ever have attempted that kettlebell swing. Now, I want to make it clear, it wasn't like I didn't know what I was doing and I just picked the bell up and started swinging it around and I hurt myself. This wasn't what the situation was. So the physio popped me up on the table again, and she goes, can you go onto your stomach and I'm going to look at your back. And she started poking and prodding, and good Lord, how I managed to stop myself from swearing and cursing like a madman. But we got to my lower back, and she started poking, and she goes, can you lift your bum, please? So, I lifted my bum, or at least I thought I did. And she went, Now, for anyone that's been in a physio, see when you get, that's the equivalent of when you take your car to the garage and it's your MOT or something, and they open the bonnet and they go, you know you're about to get really bad news. And at this point, I didn't want any more bad news. My mental health with my body and not being able to do what I want to do is through the floor. So I got the and I went, what? She goes, David, your lower spine doesn't move. I was like, what do you mean it doesn't move? She goes, your vertebrae don't curve. So I've got anterior pelvic tilt anyway, and which I'm trying to rehab, and it sucks. And then I'm being told now that my lower spine doesn't move. I asked, do I need an x-ray? No. I personally would beg to differ. If you're telling me that my spine doesn't move, I somehow would think that surely that merits getting it looked at. I asked the question of, it's not fused or anything, is it? And she's like, it doesn't feel fused because there's limited movement. So I was like, right, so I don't need to stop wrestling immediately. And she's like, no. And I was like, am I going to get that flexibility back? And she goes, how old are you? And I went, 38. She did the mechanic one to me. She did it. She went, she goes, nah, you're probably not going to get that back. And in my head, I went, fucking watch me. I'm 38. I'm not dead. But I was like, thanks for the encouragement. But yeah, so I left the physio, had everything reset, and then within about an hour, couldn't move, agonising pain. I couldn't walk, I couldn't bend over, I couldn't do anything for myself. And that was just about 2 weeks until the Monster Mash show. I was absolutely fucked. And I mean fucked. I was done. Then I had to do a family trip to Orkney, which was fantastic. I had an amazing time. I love Orkney. I absolutely love Orkney. It's just such a calmer pace of life. I've said this since I've gone to Orkney for the first time. They just have their shit together because it's a self-contained island. It's an island, or islands, Orkney Isles, for those of you who don't know. And it's great. If you ever have a chance, get your butt over there. It's full of culture, great food. The services are good because it's all self-contained. They've got a great council and just everything's put together so well. Stromness is like, there's not a hell of a lot in Stromness. There's a couple of good art galleries and a new cafe opened and that. But Stromness is like, if you want to go somewhere if you're being central and you want to go to the hikes and you want to go away from that area, that's fine. Stromness is where you get in if you take the main ferry from Thurso. Kirkwall is essentially like the capital of Orkney. It's a big town, a very big town. And it's got everything from, boutique clothes stores, a great free museum, which you should donate when you're there. The museum is fantastic. Going around the museum is just as good as what's in content-wise because it's in a really, really old manor, an estate per se, and it's gorgeous. It's great, absolutely great. Really enjoyed doing that with Corvin, and I think that's about the third time I've done it in a good few years, but me and Susan have done it at least twice going to that museum. And there is a new food court area with it's really cool. It's like 3 small metal shacks that are, when I say metal shacks, it sounds like I'm saying like they're thingy, but it is. It's small metal shacks with tiny kitchens inside, and it's great. It's so modern. You've got a coffee shop in the middle, Movement Coffee, fantastic. Staff were lovely. The cakes are great. The coffee is amazing, absolutely amazing. And then just before that, what was the name again? Dolly Burger. Now, I didn't have anything at Dolly Burger because I am sadly now gluten and dairy free, and I'm not allowed to have flavour or fun, apparently. But yeah, Corvin had Dolly Burger and loved it. I think Susan had one for dinner one night as well, and it looked really good. It smelled amazing. But, however, next to these 2 establishments is Sakura Kitchen, which is Japanese food. I love Japanese food, and this place makes phenomenal Japanese food. Great little bites. I had gyoza, chicken gyoza one night, and then another night I tried I never had this before, apple gyoza. Yeah, that was mind blowing. I loved it. It was amazing, so tasty. I want more. But every day that we were in Orkney, I pretty much had, I would nip round, and for lunch I would have onigiri, which is essentially a rice ball or rice triangle with a bit of sushi seaweed wrap around it with a chicken or tuna filling. And oh man, these were so good. So good. Sticky Japanese rice is just, mwah, it's my jam. But yeah, so I really enjoyed the food in that over there. And I've gone on a complete tangent because I'm like, Orkney, take me back to Orkney. Take me back to Orkney. Anyway, when I was in Orkney though, when we were in the hotel, I was on the floor for the majority of the time doing stretches, strength training. I was twisting myself like a pretzel. I was doing these like little wobbles and spins and everything just to try and get this back unlocked and strengthened. and I genuinely thought I was not going to be able to perform. Luckily, and it was a miracle, about 3 days before the show, gone. Got everything back, got full range of movement, and the pain was very, 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 very limited. So I was like, yes, we can go. Physically ready to go. Show day comes. Feeling great. Feeling fantastic. And I feel like I'm going to be a broken record that show day comes and everything's great, and then something happens. And me, oh my, does something happen. So I was in a tag match. It was myself and the Harbinger against Lad Chapman and the Jack Dog. I can't say his name without doing that. And it was fine. The tag match was planned, but due to my tag partner being what we refer to as being a monster, because he's like 7 foot tall, blah, big scary thing, you don't throw a monster about. So one of the baddies at this team's going to have to take the bumps, which is me. And the match was built with me bumping and feeding a lot. Physically, I was ready to go. I was like, I can manage this. Not a problem. Just got to be careful, make sure I stretch, make sure that I strengthen everything before I go through the curtain. Because it's the Monster Mash, we have the cosplay Royal Rumble at the end of the night, which is always mental. It's always good fun. It's always funny and silly because everyone just dresses up in different costumes, and yeah, it's great fun. This year, I always try and do an entrance with Corbin. I didn't get to do an entrance with Corbin last year, but I always try and incorporate Corbin into something. But he always gets his own Monster Mash entrance because he's my son. And, you know, he's part of the family, my wrestling family. And this year he chose to do John Wick. And it was really, really good. Really good. Comes into the John Wick theme and he's got like his mum painted. Oh no, I don't think it was Susan this year. I think Brody did it. Could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I apologise, but I think Brody did it. Put the beard on and the cuts and everything, and had his hair slicked back. He comes in and he's doing the limp, holding his ribs. He's got his little suit on, and then he gets in the ring and gun. He's got guns that like have clips that drop out, and he reloads it. And then I dressed up as a hodgepodge suit because I don't have normal clothes, but I had a hodgepodge suit and a mask, and came in and we did a little John Wick kung fu fight, and he stabbed me with a toy knife. It was great, and we even had like the John Wick fight music over the top of it. It was so much fun, and we just choreographed that very quickly on the day. About maybe 5 or 6 times we went through it, and yeah, I'm so proud of him for doing it. However, when we did practice it, we were backstage, everything was fine. I was totally fine. And I sat down. I didn't roll, I didn't flip, I didn't do anything. I sat down on the floor, and because I went low to the ground, the whole room spun. When I say it spun, like it almost felt like my eyes were rotating in my skull. Everything turned. I got dizzy on top of it, but it wasn't just dizzy, it was everything spun. I've never had that before. Everything looked like a kaleidoscope. And then I couldn't move, and it was awful. It was very scary. And I thought, whoa, what was that? And initially I was like, well, obviously, maybe I just sat down too fast. We've all done it. Not a problem. Continued to choreograph. I sat down again. Boom. Room spins. I'm like, this isn't normal. What is going on here? Then I lay down at one point, and before I go to the ground, I'm fine. And then again, the room completely spins, and then I suddenly realise that this isn't going away. I'm bumping and feeding, and that's fast. Like, you go down to the floor, and then you've got to get up fast to get hit to go down again. And every time I'm going near the floor, my entire world's spinning, and I can't move, and I can't walk. Well, the next 3 hours until my match was due was the most stressful 3 hours I think I've had in a long time. I was panicking. I was scared. I was properly scared. I didn't have the option of turning to my tag partner and going, see all the stuff I'm taking tonight? you have to do that now because Harbinger's a monster. Harbinger's 7 foot tall. He can't do those things. And it was awful. I was shaking. I was near, if I'm going to be honest, I was near tears at one point because I didn't know what was wrong with me. And it was very scary. And then as the night went on, and I think it's compounded with the autism, and it's stressful for me anyway. Show days are getting harder and harder and harder and harder to get through because of my autism worsens as I get older. My sensory issues get so much worse. The loudness, the noise, all the people talking, the movement, the lights. And I panicked so much. I just didn't know what was wrong. And I got wild brain fog on top. And my head was getting fuzzier. And then I was like, am I going to remember the match? And I just didn't know what was going to happen. I went out, did my entrance. I drank, honestly, right? So I thought obviously water is the first thing you go to. Water, need water, maybe dehydrated. Because I didn't know what was going on. There was no explanation why this was happening. So Harbinger got me like a massive jug of water from the bar, and I glugged that all night. Like the amount of times I went to the bathroom. I actually went to the bathroom about 10 seconds before my music hit as well. And I was like, oh. But I did the entrance, which was a really weird thing happening. It was awesome. Absolutely awesome. I've never had this happen before, but I did my entrance, which I've done all the time, and the crowd seemed to really enjoy. I made 2 kids cry. I scared them a little bit too much, though. They didn't like the paint in the eyes. I just did my usual, take the mask off. But immediately they saw the face, and they did not like it. So, poor kids. So, sorry. And then got in the ring, did the entrance. I was fine. A little bit shaky, but a good few times during the match, it hit. I managed to do the bump feeds and get up, but it hit, and I went bleh. And I don't think anybody in the crowd noticed at all because, oh wait, sorry, I'm talking about brain fog. I've come away from what I was saying. Yeah, the thing that happened, it was really weird, but I loved it. I did my entrance, and I did the wild twitch spasming spot, and then I stopped with the point of the music. And when I stopped, I didn't get the boos. I didn't get like the wrestling reaction. I got a round of applause. Like it was almost like the Japanese kind of like, ooh. And I was like, that was so strange to get this like really polite applause on my creepy entrance. And the only thing that I can logically think of is you like the character. You like that entrance. You like that showmanship. And because I'm the baddie, you can't cheer for me. I don't mean that in a big-headed way. I think that's what it is. It's because you can't cheer for me and you know that you shouldn't because I'm the demon of Combat League. I'm evil incarnate right now. I'm the baddie. I think the applause is their way of going like, ooh, we like that, but we're not going to cheer for you. So yeah, that was interesting. Really thought that was cool. Thank you to my community and the audience. I appreciate that. And jump back again through story. So I did okay. I went really dizzy a few times and it was awful when it spun. Match was fine. I enjoyed the match. Daw legitimately clocked me with some punches. Ow, when you're dizzy, it's not great. But it was good. There was a few messy bits in the match, and for me personally, some of the flow didn't go the way I wanted to. The timing was slightly off, but these things happen. That's just me being picky. But I actually, all things considered, I had fun as much as I could in that situation because I was on autopilot. I was like, I've got to work on my performance. I've got to make sure that I'm doing well. But at the same time, I was like, please don't faint. Please don't faint and not get up. Then later on through the night, it was all good vibes. We're having a good laugh backstage. Crowd seemed to be enjoying themselves. And we got to the Monster Mash, which is our cosplay Royal Rumble. Wow, just redonkulous. As I said, I started it with Corbin doing the John Wick thing. RJ Cash was Hercules. Hercules is quite possibly my favourite Disney film. It was like my one that I latched onto when I was younger. I had the VHS and I wore that son of a bitch out. Love Hercules. I love the music. Can we just be straight here, right? I don't want any arguments. James Woods' Hades is the best villain in Disney. Nah, the best villain in Disney. You can take your evil queens, all that malarkey. Hades is the most entertaining villain in Disney. Because it's James Woods being James Woods. So yeah, RJ was Hercules. We had Brody Adler as She-Hulk, who looked amazing in the green. Like when she told me she was doing She-Hulk, I actually I just assumed like, oh well, you're just gonna wear ripped clothes and paint yourself green or something. Did not realize it was the actual comic book accurate She-Hulk costume, and it was great, absolutely great. Fraser Gervin as Luke Matthews, which I'll get to that in a minute. Struan was Roddy Piper from They Live. Connor Rose was Peacemaker. Taylor Veidt did the three faces of Taylor Veidt. He was Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. So many good ones. Mr. E came in as Wednesday, looking good with those lady legs, sir. And so many more. I'm missing them. I'm missing more, but they were good. Oh yeah. Jack Daw decided to go as Michael Jackson from Moonwalker, and when I say threw himself into that gimmick, threw himself into it. Even changed his name to Michael Jackdaw. Now, the vertigo did hit during the Monster Mash. I hit the floor a few times and I got dizzy. Luckily, because it's a rumble, I can take time to sit. And again, I'm not sure if the crowd noticed, but there was a few times I just went to the floor and I was like, I can't get up. So I took my time with it, and I need to, not that anyone watches this, but I need to apologise to the left-hand side of the ring, front row in particular, because RJ Cash hit me with a stunner. And I was in my mind going, right, I want to sell this good. So I went down and then I kind of jumped up and took the bump just to make it look good. And the moment I landed, my entire right leg, which is the good leg, cramped. My hip and muscle cramped, my knee cramped, and it went down the back of my calf into my foot, and my toes just went like that. My whole leg, oh, the pain. So much pain. Luckily, I knew I hadn't ripped anything. I knew nothing had blown out. It was just, I knew straight away. I was like, everything's just cramped. And I don't know why, because I stretched. And I rolled to the edge, and immediately, I am so sorry to that front row. I was rather unprofessional, but that was a lot of pain. And I've been in a lot of pain in the ring before, but that caught me off guard, and I swore like an absolute sailor. I was punching the apron going, motherfucker, son of a bitch. And yeah, and I have thanked Brody for this personally, but Brody came up to me and checked that I was okay during the Rumble, and I was like, yeah, I've just got wild cramp. I was like, I'm just sore. But I couldn't move because it was refusing to let go. So I'm out of the way, I'm hiding under the bottom rope, and Mr. Flippin' Jackdaw comes over, starts stomping on me and tries to pick me up, and I was like, no, not right now, sir. And he's like, all right, okay, what's wrong? And I was like, I'm hurt. I was like, I'm hurt. And I did say, it's my leg. And I'll give me due, Jackdaw is not of the Caithness accent, so maybe didn't understand my dialect. And it's loud in there because you've got all these bodies rattling and the wood's slamming and bouncing and the crowd's making a noise. So yes, he quite possibly didn't hear me say, it's my leg. Proceeds to lock my leg in a submission. By the way, I don't know why you're locking submissions on me in the middle of a Rumble. That was ridiculous. But grabs the bad leg and starts twisting it. And of course, I am now screaming for real in pain, and he thinks that I'm selling, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do right now. I'm just going to lie here and take it because he can't hear me. Thankfully, let me go. and it eased up, and I was okay. But the brain fog through that, man, was awful. We got home, we did the usuals, we watched bad wrestling, we all had a good time, good fun. It was a shame I didn't really get to see Brody, Bruce, oh God, my brain is going mad. Brody, Taylor, Dunbar, and John. I didn't really get to see them much because they all arrived on the Saturday, which I understand, but see, when you don't get that Friday night to just catch up with them, because I consider them pals. It's great just to hang out with them. It's about the only socialising I actually do outside of the odd game night here with you folk. So it's nice just to have that every so often, because I'm not a sociable butterfly. So yeah, on the point of Luke Matthews. Before the Monster Mash, Luke Matthews performed his final wrestling match and has now retired. Took the boots off in the middle of the ring and left them there, and the faces, because they're the only ones that are allowed to go out, they came out and gave him a good clap. But I can tell you now, he got a round of applause from us all and hugs from us all when he came backstage. I had to walk away from the monitor. I watched most of it, but I couldn't watch. I've never seen someone retire live before, and I've got a lot of time for Luke Matthews. Luke Matthews has been coming up for 2 years. And I met him a long time ago at another show down in Glasgow Ayrshire region. And I had no interaction. And in fact, I thought he didn't like me, which is fine. I mean, it happens. I mean, you're never going to, like, I've come down from, the north, and I don't go to any schools in that area. Who is this chump? But yeah, like, didn't have any interaction with me, and I think I said, "Oh, your mask's really cool," but I got nothing back. And I genuinely was like, "All right, he hates me, so I'm not going to speak to him." So when it came up years later to book him, I was like, "I don't think he likes me." Then I ended up going down again to the Ayrshire Glasgow area, and I did a rumble, and I met him again, and you're talking years between interactions. Still didn't talk in the back in the locker room, but in the rumble, actually came over to work with me. And in that small sections of working in this rumble, punching each other, kicking back in it, I was like, he's alright. He's alright. So we'll book him up. And I'm so glad I did, because Luke Matthews is very much on my level of humour. He breaks me all the time. He's so funny. And he can be so deadpan. He can be quiet for so long and not say anything, and then just somebody else, something's happening, and he'll just go bah, and you're like, it's deadpan how it comes out as well. But yeah, it's funny, it's so funny, and I've had so many good laughs on backstage in that 2 years, and he really gets into what we do at Combat League. Like, when there's silly stuff, you always wonder. Some wrestlers don't like the silly things. Like, we do some really out there things, but Luke Matthews always laughed. The two things I've been told he's broken at most was Mr. E once did the squeaky punch. We actually had a squeak live. He had big fake fists, and he went boom, and we actually got a and this Monster Mash show, Jenny dressed up as a giant whoopee cushion, and we got Jack to play fart sounds every time she was bumped or hit. And I wish I had footage of Luke Matthews backstage when this was happening, because the howls that was coming out of him. And it's moments like that. These moments are more important to me than, I suppose you call the success of it. These mean a lot to me, seeing these moments. The front of house just as much as back of house. It's always important to me that the performers that are here and that are coming up here are having fun. Because that's why I did this. It's why I do it. I don't do it for me. I'm falling to pieces. And if truth be told, I probably lost my big passion for wrestling many, many years ago. A long time ago. I don't do this to get pops for me. I have no interest in that anymore. I've had my time. My time was a long time ago. A long time ago. I have never ever missed a show. When it was Caithness Pro Wrestling and when it's Combat League, I've never missed a show. I've never ever not been on the roster. And I've seen so many generations of families come through to our shows. There's some of the trainees most of the trainees that train with me now were kids when they watched me start it. And now they're all grown up and going to university and jobs. And so my time's done and gone. So I'm more there now for seeing what it does for other people. What it does for the community. What it does for families. What it does for Luke Matthews. Who kindly said to me that it's some of the most fun he's had in 2 years in wrestling. And what blows my mind is that Luke Matthews comes from Source, which was one of the best wrestling schools in Scotland, and sadly met an end that was not justified. The school's no longer there. I think that's just unfortunate, because at certain points it was the premier school in Scotland. A lot of big names have come out of there. And I'm not going to name them because I'm not feeding egos. But if you're in the wrestling scene, you know what I'm talking about. But it blows my mind that Luke Matthews comes from Source, worked that area for years and years and years, and retires in Caithness. And the audience love him up here. They absolutely love the Samurai Luke Matthews. So I couldn't watch the rest of that. I got through most of it, but I had to walk away, and I'm very, 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 very sad that vibe, an important part of backstage and back at mine when we watch crap wrestling, is now no longer going to be there. I can actually feel tears coming. I am not going to cry on camera. I am not crying on YouTube. This is not happening. So yeah, look, thank you. You know you're always welcome socially, and if the Samurai ever wants to wander again, you're more than welcome. We would love to have you back. So yeah, that was the Monster Mash. I am still having lightheadedness, if I'm going to be honest. I'm not having the vertigo and dizziness. I'm giving it some time before I go to the doctors. I was on a lot of painkillers that the doctors gave me before, so I'm wondering if the painkillers were what was causing the issues. But bar that, it's been good. It's been good. I'm just so tired. I'm so very tired. I have not had time to stop. We've gone straight back from Monster Mash into school. So Corbin's like full on again. But yeah, thank you again for sitting through this video. Do the usual shit, like, subscribe, share. Help me build this channel. Help me get some oomph on her, because I might be needing to put a bit more effort into it. And peace. Small addition, because I deserve a slap. A big slap. I even had it written down in my notes and I completely forgot. My wife dressed up as Poison Ivy and she looked amazing. She put so much effort into her costume. Painted herself green, big red wig, amazing version costume wise. We tried, she bought a dress, which was like a green sequin thing with vines, and it was not to her liking. It was very short and with a slit as well. Hey, don't get me wrong, She could have pulled it off quite easily. But we went for something different. So I suggested, because, you know, I'm the Batman nut of the house. I have loads of Batman books and Batman stuff. Batman's like my superhero. And I suggested like a green corset with, I'm not sure what the term is, but it's like a big floofy skirt. And it worked. It was awesome. She did so good with it. And I would deserve a massive kick in the balls if I did not give her praise in this video. I even had it written down and I missed it out, and I spoke about everyone else's costumes. So I am sorry, dear. Props to you. You looked beautiful and you looked amazing. Peace again. Thanks for watching the video. If you could give me a like, share and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. I'm also on Instagram and TikTok. Just look for Let's Talk About Meh. I also do gaming news and podcasts on this channel, so feel free to check out some of them too.